simply asking. You can ask the same thing to me. For the amount of money that they're paying you, what are you taking back to this? It's not, again, a question that it cannot be done. In my opinion, it's never been about something that we can't compete with the rest of the world. We have become too complacent and too comfortable with all the resources that we have. You're supposed to fight back. You're not supposed to sit there and just say, okay. You're supposed to say, that's wrong.
Yeah, we agree with you.
No, you're not supposed to agree with me because I'm being abusive to you.
He's Catholic.
So this mindset, the exercise that I came in with is, I did this as of last night to say, what am I going to do today? Can I give them a little bit more information? It's not going to make that much of an impact. But to get them to realize what they know and what they don't know. And it's not important about a grade in a class, because this is, in my opinion, a very little minuscule piece of sand of a momentum that can be created to change how we think. Are we complacent?
No.
Good job. Good job. Good. Good job. How many cars do you have at home? How many cars do you have at home? Does almost everybody have a car? Sometimes you have more cars than people. Do you have more bedrooms than people? Do you have more TVs than number of people? More dogs? Are you saying that, again, I'm not saying that this is necessarily true. If you have more cars and more TVs and more bedrooms and more of everything than the number of people that you have, are you not, I should not say you, we, including, no, Carla, not me, Carla. Are we not the source of the problem? You're supposed to not agree.
It's the media's fault.
Blame it on Obama.
Huh?
Thanks, Obama.
So where do we start? We don't run a national organization. We run what we run, which is part of the university and this little region right here. But this region right here, between ORNL and Y12 and all the industries and the university, is one of the more progressive areas within the state. And if we can't make a change here, I don't know where we're going to be able to make a change. But it is dependent upon not me at this moment. It is dependent upon you and your attitude on how, whether this is just a class that I'm going to pass to get a degree, to get a promotion. And if that's the case, then you're very complacent. You've taken an entitlement. You're using your organization's money. You're not giving anything back to it, simply other than the fact that we graduated X number of students. And the university is happy because it's getting money to be able to provide a service. But what benefit to the region beyond a transfer of money and the ability to feel good? I don't want in this program anymore to just graduate students. And I don't think that every one of us has to make a change within our organizations, but we should have fundamentally the knowledge to go back, maybe not change ORNL, not change Y12, but what about your church? But what about your community? But what about your family? And if I have, and I am as complacent, if not more, than you. So, I mean, I'm part of the problem. Do I have more cars than the people? Yes, I do. Do I have more bedrooms than the number of people? Yes, I do. I don't think I have more TVs.
I've got dogs.
Huh?
I've got dogs.
I got one, a beautiful dog. What's a mixed breed? It's a
Red
half
heeler.
pit bull and half Australian red heeler.
Interesting.
But it's the nicest dog that you
Nice
ever
dog.
seen.
Very nice.
So it eats more food than some people in China. I don't know, I'm just making that up. So what are we gonna do? And here's the thought process, and here's the transition in the paradigm that we're talking, because when we were talking about half jokingly, should we have classes? I don't care if the university gets any more money because you and I can meet together and have additional classes. I don't care about that. That's not the goal. The goal is, by the time you finish, you should have the ability to say, my God, I do think differently, and I think I can go back and make a change. Even if I don't do it, I can tell other people how to do it. That should be the goal. So should the class continue, it's up to you. It's really your attitude. If you think, oh my God, why would I want to come here on Fridays? That's the issue. And I have sometimes have a difficult time getting up and saying, oh, I'm going to drive all the way to Oak Ridge. But I actually look forward to teaching. So here's the thing. My expectation is that you are going to have a different mindset and you are going to be the change agents. If it means, now you're going to finish this report up and send it to me, and I'm going to kind of read it. Right? And if it doesn't make sense, I'm going to send you a nasty note back and say, what the hell is this? No, I'm not like that. Right? You are most of you, not all of you, have given me the 5 people that you can influence. And the reason that you gave it to me is because I'm going to ask you to go teaching.
What if we gave you more than 5? Can we pick 5 of them?
I did. I just got, everybody had to need 5. Did you send me one more than 5?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I did mine different because I'm over 2 groups of about 50 each, so I just said I'll facilitate.
So how are the groupings? I want your test to stand up for 3 to 4 hours, and I want you to train those 5 people or 50 people. And I want to observe it. When you do that, I'll give you your grade.
What if we already did?
What's that?
What if we already did a presentation?
Then
on
do it
the
again.
project?
So then do it again for 5 more people, but I want to sit there and listen to you, so I can go back there and say, boo, boo, things like that. That's what I want. And if we want, and not necessarily that everybody has to come together, and not necessarily that we have to do it here, we can meet on Fridays at Panera Bread, and you can tell me, I'm not getting this. I'm not getting this. This class.
Say that again, I missed the part about the presentation. Say what you said, you wanted with the presentation.
I want you to present
Uh-huh.
to the people that you were supposed to give me at least 5 people that you can influence.
Oh, okay.
I want you to go and teach them what you've learned.
Sorry.
Right? And for those that want to work into the summer, if you want to, we can meet here, or we can meet at Panera Bread, or it doesn't have to be every Friday. We can set up appointments with Carla. Yes, Carla, I'm volunteering. Carla's not even paying attention. Carla's watching a movie on
No,
her
I'm
iPad.
reading my email.
Just
What did you say? Set up meeting?
that we can, doesn't have to be, the paradigm is not an arbitrary shutdown date. For those that want to work with us, we can continue to work with you. And then we can do it at Panera Bread, we can meet somewhere, all that kind of stuff. And if you want to, you can come to my house and have scotch, and we can do this over scotch.
What you guys did yesterday worked out really well,
I vote
so
for that.
if somebody wants to organize it like that,
Like what?
the way they did it yesterday, that we sent out the times and people signed up, and that way we would know how many people are interested.
We could do that. We could do that at Y12. We could do it somewhere. So I don't mind doing this. So this is open to you, all right? So what I want you to do now is you spend the rest of the time, and whenever you're done over the next couple of days, I want you to send me your report. And it just says,
Yeah, we can do that.
and I want you to title, "The Genius That I Am." And I want you to tell me how you feel on the Lego exercise, and it has to be laid out very clearly. And then you are gonna then take 5 people in your organization, and you're gonna present it. Whenever your presentation is there, I'll be there, or somebody will be there to evaluate you in terms of how you present it. So you can't come back and say, oh, those are 2 machines, they're pretty far off. You can't do that. You have to think at a different level. Is that too mean? Yes.
What if you
Yes.
can't get those people together?
That was extremely mean?
I'm trying to figure out how, in our organization, I'm gonna get 5 people, and he's gonna get 5 people who are gonna each spend 5 hours of
Well,
their time.
do it here. If it's the same organization, you teach for 2.5 hours, you teach 2 hours, or whatever.
Most people
Yeah,
don't wanna
she
give
said-
up their own time, 3 or
Yeah.
4 hours. to-
That's your challenge.
I wouldn't want to.
Now, here's the thing. If you've already given up, now here's my response to you. If you have already given up to the first barrier that's thrown to you, what change are you gonna make? People are not willing to give up their time.
No, but I was thinking this class was like winding down, and now it seems like it's opening up.
It's not opening up. I'm saying if you wanna make a change, you are welcome to do this. If you're saying, the hell with this class, and I don't care, you can wind it down.
No, that's not what I'm saying, I was just.
But then you have to give off yourself. You cannot be spoon-fed all the time and say, well, you're gonna be a champion of all changes, but I'm not gonna move a thing. Everything come to me. You're gonna have to make some change somewhere. So the question here is not that. I can give you grades based on the report that you send, right? This is just an open invitation to you to say, do you want it to be a class? Or do you want to change something? That's really challenging, isn't it? Because I sit at night on Watch TV and say, what the hell are they saying? Well, I'm doing exactly the same thing they're doing, but I sit there and criticize it. I'm going to ask you this, again, this is UT. How many of you are using additional resources beyond what you should? If I budgeted things at O&L at what, 150, 200,000 for a person, and at $400,000 for a researcher, and that is the budget, you're gonna have to explain to me why I budget a person that runs a taxi from one place to another at O&L for about 150,000. So it's really up to you. I'm going to take time out of myself to work with you in the summer. I'm not going to get paid for it. I don't, and my wife is going to say, are you stupid doing this?
No, that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about this presentation that we have to do.
But here's my thought process. How else are you going to challenge yourself? Are you okay? Well, tell me another way.
Well, I guess, when are we supposed to do that? Is this,
Anytime, I don't care. I didn't put a time frame on it. I'm just giving you a challenge.
okay.
To
Well, I
see-
was thinking like before, next week or something.
No.
That's what- Okay.
No, this is not for next week. You could do it a month from now. I don't care. But here's the point, again, because here's the
Right.
point, huh?
Up to a year from now.
Up to a year from now.
So,
We don't want to take it.
can we
So
do
this
this
is the capstone.
during work hours? I mean, would you be available to do that?
If we can schedule,
You said
absolutely.
any presentation.
Okay.
Because in the summertime, we run a lean summer program, so we're gonna be there from June to July. But I don't teach every single segment of it. So if I can coordinate, I'm gonna be here in June and July, so I can. Again, here's the thing, don't take it as work. This is not about work. This is not about passing a class. This is not about any of this. The question is, you either believe that you can make a change to this society or you can't, don't. And it's not that you're not doing it. Believe me, it's not that you're not doing it. You're doing it in your own ways. But at work, where I'm looking at, my God, spending tons of money, how many people do you think over a period of time are going to be able to pay, go into debt for $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 to go send their child to school so they can make $30,000, $40,000, or $50,000 a year? There's something wrong with that educational system. When I'm saying somebody, I was talking to Ralph Heath, you know, and he said, why do we have twice the size of the campus for the same number of students that when I graduate? If majority of the education over a period of time is going to be innovative through technology, why are you building an infrastructure that is going to be hard not to build? Well, the money's there to build. Who's going to sustain the expenses of operating those buildings? Oak Ridge National Lab, I don't know, about a year or 2 years ago, it is the, I believe the most expensive laboratory to work with in the United States.
And you're good.
It's not that you're not good, you're very good. You're very good at what you do. I mean, Ornell is very, very good at what they do. So here's the kind of thing. So this is not your grade. I'm simply saying I'm available to do it. Here's my challenge to you.
So the presentation will not affect our grade in this class?
Absolutely not. I'm going to boo you.
How can you do that if you're not at the presentation? I'm just-
Yeah, but that's difficult.
I would argue that if we're all institutionalized, how are we going to change 5 people's minds in 4 hours?
It's better than not trying.
I think it's more of a prolonged process.
It is. But you have to start somewhere. And here's my question. How many of you, when you finish this class, were expecting to do anything beyond simply passing the class?
Still working on
I
it.
feel like we did, because we finished our project and implemented it.
Yeah, the paper write-up, my management actually wanted that. They were like waiting for it.
Yeah.
But I want to see what you're going to improve.
But here's the thing. Can I say this? I have read so many reports that I don't care about reports. I want somebody to sit there and tell me that I think wrong. I want somebody to, over a cup of coffee, say, Rupi, you're messed up. Let me tell you what you need to do. To hand over a report, my God, how many reports do you think I read a day and I say I care about?
0?
Well, your reports, definitely.
Yeah, I was just going to say, can you at least pretend to care about a couple for...
But it's the truth of work. The people that inspire me are the people that sit down and tell me and talk to me and prove something to me. It's not a person that writes a report because they had to go to class or because there was a report that needed to be written. Doesn't inspire me. And for me to be changed and say, I'm going to change the way I think, somebody has to inspire me. And it's a big challenge. This is not normal for a class, right? I mean, I'm not saying that this is easy. I'm not saying, you know, me sitting back there and saying, boo, 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 you know, that's not going to, I plan not to do that. You know? I'm just going to roll my eyes at it. All right, are we okay?
No.
But no, who said? But you're absolutely correct. Your point is very valid. But somewhere you have to start. And you may fail, and you may fail, and you may fail. But at least you can come back and say, I did try.
I'm just not sure it's a good use of time.
What would be your good use of time?
I mean, like I said, I see the process as being more incremental here.
No, I would release and let you do what you want to do. If you tell me what is a better way of time for you to be able to change the way people think. If you give me an alternative, one is to say this is not a good thing. It's better than nothing. You give me a better alternative, and I'll change to your alternative.
Well, definitely giving a presentation on our own project that we implemented versus the Lego project.
Here's what you're going to do. Unless you tell me, it's not on the Lego exercise, it's on your presentations. But you have to put together the ability on, you can't say, well, this process was this process was this, right? Many of the projects that you presented to me today had really, we connected you to lean, but had nothing to do with lean. Well, you were going to do that project anyway. Not you, but there was a lot of people. All right? To say that I have this system and then I've got this system and this system was initially and now we bought this system doesn't tell me exactly why you did it. Okay, and I want you to understand at this moment the dynamics of this class. What are you resistant to at this moment? It is not work. So are you saying that the world will change by itself without you making an attempt to it?
I'm
Well,
just
it
being
will.
sarcastic.
Just maybe not the way you want.
So what is this the resistance to? Resistance to is, see, you're giving me the subtle management subtle. We don't have time. This is what I've heard through management. When you sit in management, when somebody doesn't want to do it, they don't say, the hell with you, this is a terrible idea. Oh, this is subtly a little bit different. This is, and it's really what you're saying is, I am not willing to change.
Can I be honest?
Yes, you can.
I,
I'm being honest with you.
like, if I want to do a presentation, if I do a presentation like this is going to be more about, ooh, look at what Harley and I did. We're so smart now because we took this class. Versus if I'm able to change their minds by implementing this project that actually improves their quality of life, that's more important to me because that's more of an underground. It's not about me. It's about improving work. So I feel like by doing the project, that was more of a test of what mattered. And kind of
But most of the people,
of what you were going for to actually change.
most of the people will appreciate your project, but they will not know exactly how they can duplicate what you did. So they're reliant on you to do all the projects. And we can't do that. You have to share what you know with other people. That's really the key. So you can do a project, and I've seen, I mean, if I say that between Oregon National Lab, Oak Ridge National Lab, and Brookhaven National Lab, that I've been associated with 100 projects that have led to improvements in a process, but the ideas and thoughts and concepts and behaviors are exactly the same.
I think we improved communications between the group, which has double fold. It's going to continue.
So if I'm asking you to make a presentation and it takes you 4 hours to do it, why that resistance?
Because I don't want to waste their time and bring attention to
Why
myself.
do you, if you believe it's a waste of time, if you believe inherently what you know is a waste of time, then it is waste of time and you shouldn't do it.
Because I'd rather be a leader in
How?
in my actions rather than
But
my
somehow you have to
presentation.
communicate what your actions are, don't you? I mean, I tell my son, get the hell out of here and go do that. But if I don't explain it to him why he should do that, there is a miscommunication in there. There inherently, I think, in the way I think you're thinking is wrong. That I, through my actions, I'm going to be able to demonstrate everything that I've learned. That is not quite true.
But it's kind of a process. I mean, you can't just
It
sit
is.
there- yeah.
It is. And it starts somewhere. Somewhere it starts. And if it not today, when?
Yeah, but I don't think you can
All right, let's do this.
close it.
Here's my thing. Don't do a thing. I mean, if this is a waste of time, don't do it. I'm going to give you a grade. Watch this. I'm going to give you a grade on your projects and what you turn into me. But you then have to face yourselves.
I think another way of looking at it, instead of wasting their time, and I see your point, and I think it's more the culture of what you're saying and why people would perceive it as you bragging on yourself. But at the same time, you could flip it and explain to them the process you use to gain credibility, so the next time you roll something out, they know that you have a process that you use to get there, and now what he's saying is they understand that process and know that process is available for them to implement something. You're not bragging, you're just gaining credibility by proving you putting numbers and showing the process to the outcome that you came up with.
But I tried to apply, we tried to apply lean principles to our project, and that's part of what the streamlining was. So I'd rather focus on the project itself, because it's something that they're gonna understand.
That's fine.
I think you can. I don't think you should limit it there. Like, I agree, because that's how we work. gonna be honest, that's where I would probably start too. I'd say, here's a project I did, and this is what I got, these are the results, but then I'm gonna say, this is what I used to get there. And then show them like the processes that we've learned, and then so it's like a two-part, you're almost, I feel uncomfortable just going up there and be like, look at what I learned. Here's a slide, and like, I mean, it's difficult for me, but so if I like kind of ease it in for myself by saying this is the project I had, then they also, it's like a two-part, I don't know, Dr. Sawyer, that's still in line with what you want.
Here's the thing, because if you look at the logistics of it, how much time do you have to make a presentation on a project in front of your management? I have never seen Jimmy Stone or Herb or Thomas Zachariah sit and listen to a project for more than 15 minutes per project.
We can't even find a manager on a daily basis. I mean, you know,
that's just my impression.
They're busy in Jack.
I mean, I made a presentation to DOE for Oak Ridge National Lab on how to change the flow of traffic on the, what portal was it? I can't remember, the portal that has a long thing. This took us 3 months, 4 months to do, and the total presentation to 12 people was maybe half an hour, and that was a lengthy presentation. So how are you going to convince your management in 15 minutes, because they're not interested, first of all, let me tell you. They want the result.
Amen.
Trying to say, we're gonna lose them after 15 minutes anyway.
Right.
But I didn't say take your leadership. I said people that you can influence. Why do you think I asked the fact that you can influence people?
Now,
Just
I'd
make
like
a
throw
presentation to
another
them.
thing out there, not to push back against you, but you know, if what we're doing is implementing changes to a process.
Yeah.
The operators really don't care why the change is there. They're following a process. They've been institutionalized. They can't deviate from that process.
Sure.
Period.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't really matter if we change the process, we were successful in making changes. To them, it really doesn't care. And I don't like that because we really want them to think, but we've taken that away from them.
Correct.
And it's not up to us to give them that ability back. It's, I mean, we've gone down that road and we passed. You know, it used to be operators kind of did their thing. There were no processes on paper for the most part. We made a bunch of stuff and we did it well.
Yeah.
And now we're, you know, if it's not on this paper verbatim, they stop. And they go back and sit in the break room because that's what we told them to do from a very high level. So they really don't care, you know, hey, we did, you know, that, you know, we put a project together. We think we made your life better. You know, we might have reduced some variation or whatever, but, you know.
What is the terminology? If you use the terminology, I reduce the lead time, I reduce the variation, I understand those things, I've enhanced the quality of life. Your communication skills are going to become better. You're going to be successful. Now, one of the things I think we can be proud of is there's not very many places that, of the hundreds of places we've implemented stuff, that we can go back and say that they would not be happy to have us back or to do that, because we have inherently the language. What we're trying to get across to you is that language. The biggest barrier that we have, I think, that I see, and I'll be very honest with you, is when Y12 is paying for me, I will do what I need to do. But if I have to give off myself to do something that I'm not going to do. And the fact that you can take a championship role on making the change, and I'm not saying my plan is the greatest plan, but I don't see an alternative plan on the table right now. So here's what we do. We finish the class, and I assign your grade. And you don't have to do all of that stuff. But eventually, one day, you're going to have to answer yourselves.
Is this open outside of, let's just say we finish the class, you give us our grade.
This has, first of all, nothing to do with your grade.
Well, I mean, we could do this over the summer, or we could do this
Absolutely.
whenever.
And it's not summer, it could be next year, it could be 6 months from now. I'm not saying, what I'm saying is get yourself away from the paradigm of I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this, and I get something in return.
Right.
I'm saying, for all of the stuff that you've done, what are you going to give back? And if all you've done, and I have a meeting with Mark Cook on Thursday, and part of that discussion is about what I see in this class and how We can link with Texas Tech and make it more consistent in all that. So this is just not about this class. I want to be able to go back and say that this class is inherently something special. Right? And it's okay with me. For those that want to do it, it's fine. I'm not saying you should do it. But I question you. When you are telling me I don't have a plan, I do not have a better plan, but I'm not willing to do it, and let me do this, tell you, because it's hard work, it's going to come out of me and all that, then I'm asking you, who are you? I question that. Then if you're not institutionalized, then what are you? I'm saying that I'm willing to come here unpaid to work with you. You're saying I'm not willing to do that. That says a lot about you. Yes, ma'am.
I think it sounds great, and I appreciate it. But I came late, but I really need a clear definition of what I need to do. I mean, the
Here's a clear
presentation
definition.
part, I mean, I
Here's
need
a-
like a list. That's what
I can't give you a list because I don't know your organism. All I'm saying is, what can you do to take this material back?
I have taken this material back,
Mhm.
and my management is on board. They really feel the value of this program. So I just need to know what to communicate with them as far as the presentation.
It's not about the
and
present.
Because you've listed a lot of things for me,
No,
and I'm just not clear on what exactly.
All right, here's what we can do. We're going to do nothing. All right, that's it. We're done.
I don't think that's fair to
No,
say.
I am, because I'm fair, because I don't want to spend my time telling you to do the right stuff. And if I have to make a list and I have to tell you exactly what to do and how to do it and be here and guide you through it,
It's
then,
not that.
then
You
that's,
need
but,
to
but that's not what I want to
reiterate
do.
what you're saying,
I am
because
saying
you said a
you
lot.
show me impetus, you show me a spark beyond what's required for your work to go make a change in your organization. That's all I'm asking.
And I'm telling
And if you can't do that, I'm not going to give you that list.
And I'm telling you, I'm doing that.
I'm not going to give you a list.
You won't reiterate what you're
No,
asking
I'm
us
not
to
going to
do.
reiterate, because I don't want to convince people that don't want to be convinced, do something. I'm going to treat it as a class, and I'm going to give you your grades, and I'm going to give you your grades based on it. And if you want to do something, do it, and if you don't, don't.
I would like to meet with you this summer.
I don't. Now, you have to inspire me. I was willing to give of myself to you. I'm no longer willing to do that. You inspire me to come here every Friday. Why should I come here to teach you? It's not my university's not paying for me. Nobody's paying me. My wife's going to say, what the hell are you doing on Fridays? You now convince me that I should come here. And I want you to give me a list of what exactly you want me to do.
I can do that.
And tell me exactly how to do it and what to do it, and I'll come and do it. But until then, I'm not going to do something for you to say, ooh.
Okay, well, I'll put it this way.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to doing a presentation. My concern is that the 5 people I selected, I might not be able to get their time for 4 hours that you're available. And
Do it for 2 hours. Do it for 1 hour.
Yeah,
Do it for
well,
1 person.
So I'm willing, and I feel I already have, I guess like she was saying, brought it back, that when I talk to people now, I try to look at a problem when they say, I don't know why we're having to do this is stupid. I'm like, well, I've been learning some stuff in class, and I think this is going with the lean principles, and this is what I learned. And I sit there and I'm like, well, I never looked at it that way. So I feel like I'm getting stuff out of this class, but I'm not putting it in a formal session. I think some of us are not as good as public speaking, and so the idea of a presentation might be scary to some people, and it might come across and say, hey, I'm bragging about myself. So that's a good learning experience that we can have. I don't have a problem with any of that.
And I don't have a problem with the fact that if you're uncomfortable with something, but I don't see something on the table that you're proposing at this moment.
Yeah, and I guess speaking.
I don't see anything being proposed that says, oh my God, let me do something.
Well, and I guess I had thought that this summer I was gonna spend my time working on this lean project that
Fair enough.
was sort of associated with my job, and I thought people would see the benefits of that and say, hey, how can I do that? But I can take what I'm trying to do and put it in a presentation, and here's the general lean principles, here's how I'm gonna apply it to my project.
Again, can I take, it's not about the presentation. The challenge in a class, and I'm working with my 427 class on that same thing. The challenge in a class is not the technical component. The challenge in every class is the technical component and the cultural component. In the 427, which is undergraduate students, the fact that majority of the undergraduate students don't even come to class. The fact that when they come, they're on the telephone and they are surfing the internet or eating something, okay? Not that we're not yoga, no. We got them to a point that out of the 32 or 35 or 40 students, I don't know how many students we have, majority of them come to class at 8 o'clock every morning. And if they don't come, they send me an email apologizing. Not a single person is on the telephone, not a single person is on the computer. Because what we're doing is, you don't just have technical ability, you have to walk in with a behavior and a culture to get credibility that allows you to make those changes. There's a lot of people with technical ability. You have to have that characteristic, those attributes, to be able to convince a group of people to do it. We've convinced them. Because not a single person is on the computer, not a single person is on the internet, and everybody comes to class. And those people that did not come to class wrote on their own an extra report for me saying this is what I did to make up for the class. Here, I'm trying to work with that softly, more subtly than with them. But I find the same problem. I told them, the undergraduate classes, what if I could graduate you in 3 years? And you have to pay 1 year's less of tuition. Why would we want to do that? Oh my God, I'm thinking if you're going to graduate sooner, you get paid less money. No, but we're here to have fun. College is not a place to learn. We're here to have fun. I'm having the similar problem, but a different way. Here. And I think it's not a matter that we're fighting. Okay, that's not the way I see it. My job is to make you at least conscious of your own actions. And some of you are going to be okay, and some of you are not going to be okay. But I cannot say that I can send you as an instructor and say, we got 16 equations, memorize those 16 equations, and you're going to be successful. That's not true. The most important thing is when you walk in, what is your reputation? And your reputation resides based on your behavior. And if you're known as a person that is a 9-to-5 person, you could go in with all the techniques, nobody cares what you're saying. Because all your life you have never done what you said you want other people to do. So I'm sending you with tools, but if your reputation is, who the hell is that person to tell us how to change? They haven't changed themselves. And I'm saying, before you go in, show them that you can change, or the fact that you have already done this and this is part of your process. But what I find is, from you, is a tremendous amount of management resistance. Not a fight, a management resistance. None of what you say makes sense to me. It is barriers to put up that tell me why we shouldn't do it. I don't have time, this is not going to happen, who's going to do it, it's not a process, that's going to happen. If you haven't even tried, what is your plan? What is your plan? You don't have a plan. Your plan is, Y12 or Oak Ridge has paid for my thing, I'm going to get a master's degree, hopefully I can get this and get a degree. My God, great. Great. But for you to say that you have the characteristics, and you individually may, I'm not saying individually you may not. Many of you here individually may have those characteristics. But my job is as a class to make sure that everybody is at least conscious of what a good system designer's attributes are. You have to have empathy. You have to have sympathy. You have to be able to have technically competent. You have to understand the impact that you're making on people's lives. You have to understand the bigger picture of what you're doing. And if you can't, you're just a technician. So I'll leave that up to you. Dr. Press is listening to us.
You're giving them a motivational speech.
No, it's not a motivation speech. This is like more like a, for the first time today, through the whole class, that they're resisting.
Well, you did ask for that.
I did. You did. You're absolutely right. So we're discussing what is their responsibilities beyond this class, or what they learned. So here's what we're going to do. You convinced me to work with you now. I'm not going to work with you. I'm going to make it harder for you. I'm not going to be available in the summertime. You convinced me to come here. You give me a plan on how you're going to make this happen at work. And if I'm inspired enough, I'm coming to work out of my own time. Notice, ooh, my own time. And I'll come and work with you. But if I'm not inspired, I'm not. That's what you just told me, didn't you? I'm telling you exactly the same thing that you told me. No, not you as an individual. No. I'm not talking about any individual here. No, this is not an individual conflict. This is not about an individual. It is, you have to understand the most important thing that you have as a change in organization is your reputation of who you are. You could be a great guy with no tools and they'll allow you to make a change. You can have all of these tools, but with a terrible reputation, nobody's going to allow you to do anything.
I think one of my big concerns is that I've learned a lot in this class that I'm utilizing, but I don't want to be the only, I've seen it in my area where we've had lots of people who were fantastic at implementing things, and the second that they leave, everything goes back to exactly the way that it was. So one of my concerns is that a cultural shift is very difficult to measure.
It is very difficult. I mean, even what we're trying to do here is uncomfortable, all right, but necessary. So it is not an easy process by any means.
How would we relate back to you, the cultural differences? I've already seen some of a cultural shift and the small 2 or 3 people group, but how we can, it's hard to see that across an organization. And so I'm wondering if we are able to convince you to meet, how do we measure the cultural shift and measure the effectiveness long-term of being able to not just implement something and everybody say, good job, but keep it to where it continues beyond us, so that if you did wind up moving a position or leaving, that's not just a quick fix implementation of these great principles, but it's actually a culture built on something that's founded in improving.
I think you're asking such a difficult question, because how do you measure cultural change is a very difficult thing. I think, as somebody mentioned here, I think that this is a long-term process. It's not like one activity starts it. You know, it can start something, but it's a long-term process. Cultural change is where every day that you go into work, you're less frustrated. You see people pick up and do things that they're not supposed to do because they're part of that organization. That people start to think more in line with each other. I believe that you have families that are much better culturally defined than organizations. That you have done an excellent job in your own families to be able to create a culture, and that's what happens. The biggest fights that I had with my wife was probably the first year that we got married, because it was simply that now we were living together, and that is, but over a period of time, we both adopted and developed a culture where I don't think that not only does she not fight with me anymore, I don't think she talks to me.
That's because she reads your mind. Right?
Yeah, there you go. She reads my mind. Yeah, she does sometimes, and I think. But you develop a culture over a period of time. Okay? key that I look at it is, for example, in my own group, we got about, 30, 40 people in my own group. Enrique is one. Can I tell you that sometimes when Enrique, remember last time I was at a surgery, you know who called me the night before? And he said, Dr. Sani, I hate to ever tell you what you need to do, but you're not coming to work tomorrow. It is that culture that takes care of people. He said, he didn't have to, because I never called him to come here and teach. It was inherently something he took upon himself. When I go to my office now, I got a bottle of water that somebody bought me. They bought me lunch. I don't know what they do, because it's inherently a culture. And the culture starts from this idea. It never started. It did not exist. But the key thing that you do is, right or wrong, you do the best that you can do for your people. That quality of life. You understand what their biases are, where their problems are. And over a period of time, if you can teach them well, you have a culture at this point. Do I say, do we have a perfect culture in the thing? No, we don't. I mean, Carla here does things for me that is not part of her job description. I'm saying that. You can say whatever you want.
I do.
All right. So I think you start somewhere. Don't measure it. Look at how many people follow your lead. Where is there consistencies, the less frustration, and you'll build that culture. But you have to have a set of values, and the values that I'm placing in front of you is, I'm challenging you, and that's where the resistance comes in. Is because I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you to do something that nobody's asked you to do before. Beyond what you are tasked to do, I want you to do something more.
But nobody asked me to do this. I chose to do this. I'm here on my own time.
True.
Because I chose to do this. In addition to everything else. Right? I chose to give up something else so I could be here to do this.
But I think here's the difference that I see, and tell me this is not true. But you see this as a personal value.
I'm personally interested in this. Yeah.
Correct. It's just a personal, and I'm saying at this moment that we should do sometimes things that are beyond our personal value. So I'm not saying that I believe all of you are here on Fridays where you could be fishing or doing something else. And that, I think, is recognized throughout Y12 for the people that are at Y12. I'm saying that can we do something beyond my self-interest? And and I'm telling you things that sometimes I have difficulty doing myself, to say, I'm going to go out and do this. I don't have an agenda, I don't benefit from it, but I'm going to do it anyway. I have a difficulty doing that at times. But over a period of time, I've trained myself to do that. I've trained myself to do that. Right? And what I'm doing is, I'm saying that is a key ingredient. If you're going to become a change agent in an organization, that's a key ingredient that you should have. And you should at least, even if you don't do anything about it, you have to be conscious about that concept. Right? So here's the thing. Dr. Kress, all yours.
You're done, huh?
I'm done.
Just like that.
That's it. All right. You don't have to do a thing. Turn in your reports. You send in the report. All right. And I'm going to assign your grade. And now, if you want to do anything beyond that, you need us to involve. You send me something to convince me that I should work.
So the Lego write-up included, you want that too?
What's that?
The activity.
This you have to write. This is part of your exercise. This is part of the class time. So this is not additional stuff. This is what I want to know, how you think.
Okay.
Are we okay? All right. Dr. Kress, all yours.
No, give him a break, I get the bathroom and stuff.
Oh, you don't have. Yeah, you do. Dr. Ruthie? He was the last one, so everybody.
Gets the F. F.
We have to say loud, isn't it? But he sang.
So you don't mind it?
And he had a good experience.
Were you presenting your little project? They totally bought it.
No, they like it. They like it.
Oh, well, I just, because I just, they wanted to file paperwork.
No, nothing, the purpose of the class was to kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Could you tell him?
Make sure they don't mind.
I'm trying to balance one on the cost.
Yeah.
You want to-
Yeah, we got it from like the barn.
When they want, you still want to study, they want to. I think it was. But I'm sorry. Okay, so you're good.
Turn it in on Blackboard, or was you seeing I didn't even see a spot that you're putting your projects on Blackboard.
Not the project, the Lego
I
exercise.
just, so I'm just figuring just email.
I feel like that stuff just gets lost.
That's why you copy other people. I always copy Carl on every email.
I don't know, I'm interested in what you were thinking.
That's true.
What about, the presentation?
We're in deep into that, you convinced me that I should not write for you. Here's the thing is, why should I go about it? The initial time, you never did it. I'll say, now you're just doing the additional time.
I'm stuck now, I can't cancel my weekly meeting on it, so I've got to finish it regardless, so.
Well, now that we don't have that.
I told everybody that I was late last week.
Dr. Chris, we didn't put the board up there. That's all right. Good, because he's got one of his new drafts today. Okay. You know, sometimes I write on my outline.
I'm not.
Summer? Yeah. I thought I'd come over during the summer.
Okay, you can't. Let's consider a meeting.
Yeah, I know.
Get back to work. They give me every Friday off during the summer. I go meet.
You stole my glasses. It was in my car. It is in my car. She picks something and runs it. Whose glasses? See where? My car.
Yeah, like they had a break and I'm like,
No, it's like the last class is 2 minutes, so she can say it's training.
Over retro.